I am so honored to introduce our speaker. I was introduced to Next Step for Seniors several months ago. It's a wonderful organization. I'm so excited that Wendy's going to tell us all about it. I am a proud supporter of this organization. Wendy is just a dynamo, and I am very honored and excited that she's agreed to do this program. So I will turn it over to you, Wendy, and I'll let you introduce yourself and tell us everything we need. I will ask everyone to stay muted at the end of the program. If you have a question, please use your raise hand feature or the chat. That might be easier since we do have over 40 people on the call for tonight. Wendy?
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Julie. And I just want to say what a blessing you are. All the information to do this every month. I mean, what an incredible just opportunity that you're giving. You're educating, you're there for people. So I just want to say thank you. I love what you do. I love our partnership and I appreciate you.
Thank you,
So thank
Wendy.
you for having me tonight. So next steps. Also, I want to introduce before I get too far in on the Zoom with us is Erica Ansel. Her name says Wendy Jones, but she is my director of operations and pretty much is running the company now. Erica, can you wave your hand or say hello just so people see who you are? She's in there. We love her and appreciate her. And I got to be honest, would not be where I am today without the amazing team that I have. So I want you to know who Erica is. And she's going to be managing or at least watching the chat and people that raise their hands. So that if you have something, she'll either stop me and interject, or we'll write all those down and answer them at the end. So please, I want this to be as interactive and educational for you as possible. We're all here for a reason because we want to know more. And that's what my goal is tonight, is to share as much as I can with you. So Next Steps for Seniors is a business that's located in Rochester Hills, our corporate office. We also have an office in Macomb County, and it is covering Southeast Michigan. But we do have partners on the west side of the state in Grand Rapids. So we say that we really can cover the whole state of Michigan. And with that, I know we have people from all over, and I know someone here is from Grand Rapids. So don't be alarmed because we can help you anywhere you are in Michigan. So our goal as a company is to educate families similar to what Parkinson's Foundation is doing with Julia. So our goal is really to just share as much information. My team has a wealth of knowledge. We have nurses, we have social workers, we have people who have been in the industry who run assisted living buildings. So we cover the gamut as far as what's available. And together, our team has a lot of information, and our goal is to share it with you. We advocate for seniors. I I love, respect, and honor and am privileged when I have a conversation with any senior because you are so wise, so knowledgeable, and I believe more than ever, we need to really start learning from our elderly population. They have so much to share, and we all need to do a better job. So that's my platform, really, is to
Outstanding.
advocate. What's that? Sorry, did I miss somebody saying something? I apologize. But so to advocate for seniors and then to promote independence, right? So our goal is really to, Erica, thank you. Our goal really is to keep our independence as long as we can. So if there's anything preventative we can be doing, let's do it. But let's try to all stay home as long as possible, as long as it's safe. But just know that that's our ultimate goal, is to promote as much independence as possible. And when and if that independence changes, we just want to put support services around you and resources to help you maintain the opportunity to stay at home. Okay, next. Thanks, Erica. So what do we do? We are a free senior placement assistance and resource company. And what does that mean? Our goal is really to give you as much information and guidance. So when you call our office and you have a question, it's answered 24/7, number one, our phone number, which will be at the end of this program. But our goal is to really walk you through the steps of the next steps. That's why the name is Next Steps for Seniors. no matter where you're at, if you're in the hospital, if you're in rehab, if you're at home and you just got diagnosed with something, we want you to know all the things that are available to you, all the options that are available to you. So that's what we do. Next. How we help you. So this is a really important slide to understand. So when a call comes into our office, we will do an intake sheet and find out as much information as we can about your current situation. We want to know what care level is, where the person's currently at, are they in rehab, the hospital, at home, and what we can do to help you. So we go through this intake process, we get all the information, and then we assign a personal placement specialist. It's called a placement specialist. And this person, we have 15 of them on our team right now. And this person will literally walk alongside you hand in hand, answer your questions. You'll have the direct phone number to this person and give you a lot of attention, a lot of TLC. They will do their best to meet with you. They will do their best to go on the tours with you. They will do as much as they can and right by your side. And there's nothing like having your own personal concierge service. When it comes to this craziness, there's nothing like that. And that's what we like to offer. So we will set up tours for you. Like I mentioned, depending on the situation, if it's home care, we'll give you phone numbers. We definitely vet every single company, every single home care agency. We have a very serious vetting scenario. We go out and take pictures of every single community, and we're going to get into the communities in a little bit in the presentation. And our team would negotiate on behalf of you. So if we can get something waived or we can get something included, we will do as much as we can to get the best price and options for you that we possibly can. So I really do feel like our follow-up process is also very important because we want to make sure after you do make a decision on what the next step is that we follow up with you. So I just want to guarantee you that is happening with every single one of our clients. Okay, next. Our placement specialist. So why use a placement specialist versus going on to Google or trying to figure it out on your own or driving around and calling everybody? It's because we collaborate with the right communities. Like I mentioned, our database has over 500 communities in it. We have pictures, we have pricing, we know everything about these places. Instead of you trying to figure out what is assisted living, what do they offer, how much is it, we have it all. You make one phone call. How simple is that? One phone call and you get all of that answered in one phone call. So we do all the gathering of the information for you. We can put together a spreadsheet. We can talk to you on the phone, whatever's even come see you in person, whatever's easiest for you. And we do a double check. This isn't just a one-time thing. We do a double check. We go into Lara and do safety regulations, background checks. We do as much as we can on a regular basis because things happen throughout the year to some of these communities. And I'll be honest, we may be one of the only placement companies that says, we're not going to work with that community. So we are vetting these places. We want to make sure that they're doing right by our seniors. So we do have licensed homes. And I think this is important to understand because there are, and Erica may touch on this a little bit later in the presentation, there are some homes out there that aren't licensed. So it's really important to understand that not only do we vet them, but the state of Michigan is vetting them every year. Okay, next. Okay, so the types of different things that are available. So independent and retirement living, and again, we're going to get into these a little bit more in the slides that follow, is really, kind of like your own apartment, right? You have your own apartment, you're in a senior community, and again, we'll get into this further. And when you need a little more care, you move into assisted living, right? Assisted living, a lot of people just call it assisted living, but really there's a lot of different things. That's why I want to go through this. So there's independent living, assisted living, memory care, which is a secured community when you have memory issues, adult foster care, which is like a residential care home, and then long-term care is like a nursing home. So those are kind of the levels starting at the top, moving throughout the process. Okay, next slide. So we'll start with independent living. I love independent living, and I'm gonna tell you why. There is so much to do. It's like living on a cruise ship, okay? So there is activities, and I'm not talking just about bingo. I'm talking they get in a little shuttle bus and they go to the casinos, they go see plays, they have happy hour, they're playing cards every night, they're sitting with their friends and eating. So independent living is your own apartment, and it can be a one bedroom, two bedroom. Some of them even have a three bedroom. You have your own kitchen, you have your own, dining room, family space. I mean, it's fantastic. I think the number one reason I love independent living so much is because of the socialization. Because right now, when it's super cold and dark and icky out, you could be in a community playing cards with 20 other people, 30 other people. I mean, it's a blast. You can cook your own meals because you have a full kitchen, or you can take advantage of the breakfast and the dinner that they provide in the dining room. Usually have a full menu. You can pick what you want to eat. I don't know about you guys, but I would love to not cook and just sit down at a dining room every day and order off of a menu. So that's why I love independent living. Okay, next slide. Assisted living. Assisted living is a little more care, right? So you need help with bathing, dressing, maybe some medication reminders, some supervision. They have a nurse on staff in an assisted living. Now, in independent living, you're not going to have an RN on staff. Okay, so just keep that in mind. They'll do your laundry in assisted living. You get 3 meals a day instead of 2. Lots of snacks, hydration programs, all that fun stuff. So assisted living, you just got to think more care. Now, you're probably wondering about costs. So I want to just tell you that assisted living is usually double the cost of independent living. Okay. And honestly, because we're staying home longer and longer and longer, and we're trying to bring in home care, sometimes people miss going into independent and they need to go straight into assisted. So there's that. And we'll get in it. I want to answer your questions at the end because I know there's a lot of questions about assisted living. But if you're having problems, this is another idea. If you're having problems, getting to the bathroom by yourself, let's say, that might call for an assisted living place. Okay. If you can get up and you're walking and talking and getting to the bathroom and going down for meals, independent living is completely fine. But I usually think of assisted living as a higher level of care. And you can be in a wheelchair in both. You don't have to be walking if you're in independent living. You just got to be able to be fairly independent enough to say, because otherwise they're just going to transfer you to assisted. And we don't want to waste your time or your money if we can avoid that. And they do have private and semi-private rooms. So a semi-private room means 2 people side by side in one room. Assisted living is usually one nice big space. It is not like I talked about in independent with the kitchen and the bedrooms and all that. It's just usually one big space. The nicer buildings do have like a little kitchenette, which is great, and a bathroom in the room. Okay, next slide. Oh, I didn't talk about memory care. That's why Erica probably left that. Okay, so really quick, memory care. Memory care is all of the same things I just described in assisted living, but a memory care community will be secured. And what do we mean by secured? We mean if you push on that door, it technically takes a long time before it opens up, and a big old alarm is going to go off. Flashing lights, big alarm, someone is leaving the building. It's usually for people that are wandering or not sure where they are or have some real cognitive impairment concerns. So that's the difference. There's just a higher ratio of caregivers too in the memory care. So I think it's just important. It is also a little more expensive than the assisted living. I would say, if I had to guess, I would say probably between $6,500 and $8,500 a month for memory care. Okay. Adult foster care, moving on to this slide. This is a real different name, and I don't know how many people on this call are familiar with an AFC, but it's basically a residential care home. So right in a subdivision, there's a house licensed by the state of Michigan. We want to make sure they're licensed. and it might have a ramp out in the front, and you're like, why does that house have a ramp? It might be because 6 people are living in that house and there's a caregiver taking care of them 24/7. This is a very, very big TLC, lots of care opportunity. I love these homes. I think they're fantastic. We have an entire database. I want to say there's over 150 in our database. We visited all of them. We know everything about them. And these homes are really designed to have a lot of attention. Because when you think about needing full care, you can either go to a nursing home and get full care, or this is the next best alternative, honestly, this residential care home. It's very nice. Okay, next. And this moves into our long-term care. So when you think of nursing homes, you probably think of like cinder block walls, a curtain between. It's not like that anymore. It's changed a little bit. They're very, very, they're better than they used to be. Let me just say that. So a nursing home has 24-hour care staff, 24 hours. They will help with all things. Now, the biggest part is listed under that, the medication, the IVs, and the wound care. So some of the places I just talked about are not able to have an IV there. So if you're on any kind of antibiotics when you leave the hospital, you can't go into assisted living. You have to go to a nursing home. So these are the things, and I'm sure Erica will jump in at the end of this and tap on some of this that I'm missing, but it's really important to understand the level of care you get at a nursing home. Okay, it's a very high level. It's almost like a mini hospital, honestly. So what's important too about this is all your meals, all the dining, all the hygiene, everything's included. Everything's including in the nursing home. And the nursing home can be Medicaid, which is our low income program, Medicare, which is your rehab when you get out of the hospital and you go for 20 days, or it can be private pay. All the other options we talked about so far are all private pay, meaning out-of-pocket expenses. So when I said memory care is 6,500-ish, up to 8,500, you're paying that per month to live in one of those places. But again, covers everything. All your food, everything is covered for that price. Now, it's a lot of money, but you're important. And so I just wanted to share that with you. So there are different options as far as the nursing home, as far as the payment. So you can do Medicaid if you're eligible for Medicaid. And I think we're getting into that in the next slide. So I'll wait for that slide. There it is. Okay. So how to pay for this? And that's probably what you're all thinking, because we didn't add home care to this, so I just want to add home care really quick. If you want to stay in your home, you can, and we have vetted home care companies that we're very familiar with. You can have a caregiver come to your house and help you with your activities of daily living, right? They can help cook, they can go grocery shopping for you, they can help you in the shower, they can wash your clothes, they can do some light housekeeping. They're there for you in your home. But guess what? $30 to $32 an hour is what you're paying for that. Okay. Now they're licensed, they're insured, they're bonded. There's something about using a company. Somebody's sick, they bring someone else in. Now you can call a local friend to come help you, which will be a lot cheaper, but they might not be trained. So that's why it's important to have a home care company. So that's, again, private pay. All right, back to Medicare. So Medicare, what I like about Medicare is it really does help a lot in the hospital. It really helps a lot in the rehab. So if you're in the hospital for 3 days, 72 hours, and you are admitted into the hospital, your Medicare days at the rehab will be covered for 20 days. You can go to, and you've paid into Medicare your whole life, so why not use this benefit, right? You can go to rehab and you can stay there for 20 days and get physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, whatever you need to get stronger. Because the goal of the rehab is to put as much support around you as possible to get you as strong as you possibly can. I don't know how many of you on this call have been in rehab, but I know you know what I'm talking about. You've got to do physical therapy pretty much Monday through Friday, every day. So, and it's great and it's covered. So why not do it? Why not get as strong as you can? So Medicare covers a lot of, Part A, B, C, and D. So Medicare can be confusing because people think, well, I thought, your care is covered by Medicare. Your care is covered by you. It's private pay. If you have the funds, you pay for it. Medicare is for your doctors, your hospital visits, your physician visits, your physicals, your medications, that type of stuff is what Medicare helps you with. Okay, moving into Medicaid. I'm sure there might be some questions on Medicare, but we can answer those after. Medicaid is our low income program. So you need to not just qualify medically, but you have to qualify financially for Medicaid. And Medicaid will help you in a nursing home. After your rehab stay, if you can't afford to pay for one of these places, you can go on to Medicaid and have the state cover your care in a nursing home. Okay, very important. Veterans benefit. Number one, I want to say thank you to any of our veterans out there. I salute you. Thank you for what you have done for our country, and you get a benefit for it. And the veterans benefit is called aid in attendance. So just to give you a small idea, as you age and you need care, the veterans, those that have served our country that qualify, you have to have served during wartime. You had to have been honorably discharged. There's some qualifications you have to meet with the veterans benefit, but you can get for a single veteran up to, I think it's close to 2,000. Don't quote me on these prices. It's close to $2,000 a month towards your care. And also of the spouse of a veteran, if they were not divorced from their husband, could also get some funding. I think it's around $1,400 a month towards your care. This is a fantastic benefit that not many people know about. So I want to make sure that you're aware of the veterans benefit. Long-term care insurance is another thing, also excellent. I think only about 10% of the people that call my office on a regular basis have long-term care insurance. I do recommend it in some circumstances for sure. You got to be healthy when you get it. So that's the key. They say to get it between 55 and 65 years old. Um, and then private pay out of pocket, right? You got your Social Security, you got your pension, whatever you have coming in, you use that money to pay for your care as you age. So here's the key. Don't spend it all because the average person, 75% of people need some kind of care as they age. Now, of course, you're probably sitting there going, well, I'm going to be the 25% that doesn't need anything, but unfortunately, 75% do. So we need to plan for all of these things. Okay, next. Please save your questions because I really, really want to have an interactive conversation at the end for sure. Okay, my choice waiver. My choice waiver was designed by the state of Michigan to keep people off of Medicaid in a nursing home and move them into an assisted living. So it's a same Medicaid qualified type program, but the goal, and this just started probably 8 years ago or so, they were like, wow, we got all these people on Medicaid that we're paying for. Let's move them into assisted living on the My Choice Waiver program. So here's the qualifications for the My Choice Waiver program. I'm not going to go through every single one, but I do think that it's a good program. If you are under 28, 29 a month in Social Security and you have less than 2,000 in assets, you can call the Area Agency on Aging or MORC and you can get on the My Choice Waiver program. Okay, next slide. Oh, here's the details. Okay, for the aid in attendance. So honorably discharged, I mentioned that. And if you were a veteran, hopefully you have your DD 214, which is very important if you don't find it because it's worth it. Served 90 days active duty during wartime, over the age of 65. And here's an interesting one, is no longer able to drive. So you need to be pretty much housebound and not able to drive in order to take advantage of this benefit. So you do have to qualify. There's qualifications. Now, I still say everybody should try if you're a veteran and you need the money towards your care, but you do have qualifications to go through. Okay, next. So we, the company, after about, I would say I had the company for 6 years before I realized that a lot of the calls that were coming into our office of people who just didn't know what to do or how to navigate and had questions. I realized that they would go through the whole litany of questions regarding their loved one, and they'd get to the very end, and then I would say, "Well, what's your budget?" And they would be like, "I don't have any money. Like, there's no funds available to pay for these services." And that's why I have the podcast, which we're going to get into on the next slide. But it's really important to understand that we need the funds to pay for ourselves, for our care as we age. Insurance does not cover everything. And it's such a bummer, but I hate to be the one to tell you if you don't know, it really doesn't. And because of that, I started the foundation. And the foundation was designed to support financially, assist physically, and share spiritually. So we bridge the gap between what you have. So the financial component, let's say you make $1,800 or $1,900 a month in Social Security, okay? And then let's say you want to move into a place that's 2,200 a month. You've got this really great independent living. You need help with 2 ADLs. And you're like, man, I really want to move into but I need a little bit more money. That is where our foundation comes into play because we can support you financially if you meet the eligibility criteria. And you can find our application for the foundation on our website, which is Next Steps, number 4, seniorsfoundation.org. And we're going to put that up at the end, so you'll be able to see that again. But you can fill out an application and see if you qualify for some extra funding through our foundation. We want to make sure that we call it the forgotten middle. So the low income people have the Medicaid program. The people who have funds can pay for themselves, but there's a large group of seniors that fall in this forgotten middle. And that is who the foundation is helping, just so you know. And not only do we support financially, we assist physically. If you need help finding a moving company to get all your stuff out of your house, if you need someone to organize your basement, all of this stuff, we have resources for all of that because it's hard to get downstairs. And then we also have a spiritual component to it. It's Share Spiritually, and it's called Spiritual Support for Seniors. We have a whole team of volunteers where we've activated churches to go out and pray with people, talk about any unforgiveness in your life maybe you've had, and bring peace and assurance to you because end of life is difficult. And if you know anyone or you've been with anyone as they've passed, you probably thought, man, I wish I had somebody here to pray. That's what we do too. So those are the 3 pillars of the foundation. Okay, next. Oh, my favorite part. Okay, so because we talked about the pillar in the very beginning about educating families. Because we educate families, we started a radio show. And the radio show on the left side of the screen is every Saturday at 11 and Sunday at 10. And the goal of the radio program is really to give you information. I mean, you can tune in and you can just listen to all the different radio shows that we've done. Now, locally, there's a lot of great information. I'm trying to think what's on this week. I think it is about rehab. No, actually, it's about falls. It's about the different things that can happen in the house, how to keep your house safe, and it's about falls. So you can tune in, stream it live, or you can just turn your radio on. A lot of people listen in the car. It's easier to get 101.5 in your car. And then we had somebody approach us to do a national podcast. So if you go on Apple, if you go on Spotify, Amazon, you can actually type in Next Steps number 4 Seniors, and you can get our local podcast. Excuse me, I just had to sneeze for 1 second. The podcast is, again, similar to the radio station, but covers more of a national level basis. So we did a whole thing on driving recently. And we had a police officer We had a judge, a prosecuting attorney, and myself, and we talked about driving, and we talked about driving and how it's impacted as you age. And it was a very interesting conversation that I highly recommend everybody listen to, because sometimes we don't think of the things like this, right? And there might be something, and I'm just going to throw this out because this is one fact that really touched me. If you look away while you're driving your car, if you look away for 1 second, so let's say you look down at the floor, or you look at the radio, or you look at your spouse, 1 second, you're driving the distance of a football field if you're going 60 miles an hour. So you could be on the highway going 60 miles an hour, turn your head for 1 second. It's the distance of a football field. Now, doesn't that make you think like, oh my gosh, do not take your eyes off the road? And we have so many distracted drivers nowadays with these darn cell phones, but it's really important to understand driving and how how it impacts your as you age, and in your ears, wearing your hearing aids while you're driving, seeing clearly, driving in the dark, we talked about all of that stuff. It's a very big deal. So I just wanted to share that podcast information. I think it's critical. I think it's a lot of good information, and I hope that you would tune into that. Okay, and then lastly, I think we just put up, again, our pillars and how to contact us. We appreciate you. We know, we want to walk alongside everybody. That's our goal, really. We want to give you resources for different situations. Our organization has a whole database of elder law attorneys, transportation companies, home care companies, that type of stuff. Medicare, if you have questions about Medicare, you can call us. We have an entire database of resources, and our placement specialists are really knowledgeable. So our goal is really to advocate for you. And our placement specialists all love people so much and would do anything for them. I think, Erica, there's one more slide with our phone number. Or is that the last one? Oh, there it is. Okay. So that's our website. So you can contact us on our website. There's a submission form that you can fill out. You can call us. The phone is answered 24/7. Or you can email the office at that email. Erica's email is erica@nextstepsforseniors.com, and mine is Wendy@nextsteps, or actually W Jones. Sorry, I screwed that up. At Next Steps for Seniors. But we really want to walk alongside you more than ever before. I think, as we age, we just want to know we have somebody to call, and that is who we are here for. And I'd love Erica to step in and just fill the gaps in maybe for a few minutes. We've only been going for like 35 minutes, so we have a few more minutes. If Erica, you can unmute yourself and add to the presentation, that would be great. Are you there?
Hi, everybody. Sorry about that. I was having a little bit of technical difficulty. So there's a couple of different things that I would love to share with you, and I'm actually going to go backward on our slide a little bit. So if you give me just a moment, I'm sorry if it makes you dizzy.
Yeah, close your eyes. Don't get vertigo.
So I'd love to share a little bit more about assisted living and memory care, because it truly has my heart, as Wendy knows. I love independent living. I absolutely adore adult foster cares, but I spent a lot of my adult life in assisted living and memory care. So it's really kind of my specialty when it comes to senior living. Now, assisted living and memory care do take a higher level of care. Frequently now we're finding assisted livings being able to take people who have movement disorders, who may be a two-person transfer, who have a non-traditional style lift, like the Hoyer lift or the Sarah lift, in both assisted living and memory care. And what's wonderful about them is, just like independent living, they offer a whole array of social activities specific to their community. So no two assisted livings run exactly the same programs, because each and every one of their residents who live there are a little bit different and unique. My favorite saying is, you're just as unique as your own unique diagnosis. No two people travel the same road twice. but we often have a lot of people who are able to help input to do a full program, especially when we're looking at memory care. Memory care is my favorite place to walk into. I love smiling at the residents. I love to see that they're well taken care of. And I love to see that families with their loved ones in memory care really get to be promoted back to family. And they don't have to worry about that day-to-day stress doing all of the things for mom and dad, but spending no quality time. So quantity and acts of service are a little bit different than quality of time. And this is where I find assisted living and memory care to be so insightful for families, that you get to be promoted to advocate and child again versus caregiver and lawnmower and snow thrower and laundry person and all of those
Driver.
things. So we can sit down and really spend quality time. Residential care homes, I have to tell you that they're one of my favorite places to walk into. Just like a memory care, you can see the love of the great residential care homes, adult foster cares, whatever the terminology that you choose to use. You can see the love of each and every one of those residents, how they love their caregivers, and it's reciprocal. It really does promote that family type feeling, and is often a little bit easier to transition into from your house, because you're used to 1200 or 1800 square feet, and although you've lived by yourself, it's a little bit easier to go into a bedroom versus a small studio apartment, having a living room, having a dining room that you sit with 6 people instead of 4, and their meals often are tailored to every single specific person. I walked into one probably about 10, no, it's probably been 2 weeks or a little bit more than that. And I saw a gentleman who had eggs over medium. I saw a young lady who had waffles. And then I had this younger man in his 70s had a stack of pancakes, bacon, and hash browns. And that's what he ate every single day for breakfast. And that's what each and every single one of those residents, because they're not patients, eat almost every single day, because they know what they like and what they don't like. And they're able to grocery shop in particular for every single one of them. Moving forward, long-term care nursing, there is a whole gamut. And if anybody has any questions, please feel free to give me a call at the office. Be more than happy to answer some of those questions about long-term care nursing. But when we look at the nursing home of 20 years ago, it's not quite the same. So the state of Michigan has really done a great job of utilizing the My Choice waiver to make sure not everybody's moving into that nursing center before they need to. But your nursing center is often, like Wendy had mentioned, your subacute rehab. So that would be your short stay after a hospitalization. It becomes a long-term care nursing unit, private pay for those people who have long-term disabilities. They have a lot of medical issues that need to be addressed. They have ports, they have long-term IVs, as well as those individuals who are part of Medicaid who are no longer able to pay for themselves. There's a couple of different caveats with Medicaid and long-term care nursing, but if anybody has any questions, please go ahead and give me a call. And the veterans benefits. So the only thing I'm going to add to this is that our first veterans benefit in the state of Michigan was not applied until the late 1990s or the early 2000s. This is a benefit that every single veteran and surviving spouse has been eligible for since 1960s. So for over 60 years, this benefit has been available. So if you or somebody who was a veteran who served during a war period, and there are some criteria that you have to meet within the war periods. I know Korea is a little bit different and Vietnam's a little bit different than maybe World War One.
I think we
Mm,
just lost Wendy.
I'm here. I don't know if we lost
Or
Erica.
lost Erica. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
shoot.
but maybe she'll get logged back on. I just want to share before we open it up to questions too. Um, I've shared my father had Parkinson's disease for over 43 years, and my mother was an incredible care partner as well as nurse. And he was able, with modifications and help, to stay at home. And that's where he wanted to be. And I think that is the goal for most people. But sadly, a few years ago, my mother developed dementia and she couldn't stay in the home. Even though it was handicapped outfitted, it wasn't safe for her. And I will say that it was heart wrenching as a daughter trying to figure out the next steps. It really took an emotional toll on us kids. And I just want to say that with a lot of the conversations I've been having with people from the foundation about their Parkinson's and if they need assistance, we have an incredible respite care program that we offer that is just a temporary respite program. It's $2,000 each year for people with Parkinson's. You can go on our website, you can apply. It's a fillable form that you can submit, but that usually starts the bigger conversation about, you know, $2,000 is not a lot of money. Not when you have caregivers that are anywhere from 27 to $37 an hour. So what are the next steps? And to have an organization like yours, Wendy, that they hold your hand and just give you so much information, I think is remarkable. So I thank you for that for a lot of our constituents that you've already dealt with.
Thank you. We love it. Every single one of my team members is amazing. You just heard from Erica. She is a dynamo. She's my director of operations. We have 15 placement specialists that all sound just like her. So anybody you get when you call, oh good, she's connecting back in. Anybody that you get when you call the number, and again, it's available 24/7, is going to have that much knowledge. So yeah, we're here for you, but I'd love to answer questions. If you have any questions, we want to be able to address those. Yeah.
I think I see Mark and Tony. If you want to unmute, there you go.
Hi,
Hi,
this
Tony.
presentation was very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question. How are you paid? How do you get money for your business?
Okay, so we have two, we talked about two, and I want to clarify that because somebody did ask that in the chat. So the first thing we talked about was the business next steps for seniors, and the second thing we talked about is the foundation. So when you call the one phone number and you start talking, we're gonna be able to go, they have some funds and they're gonna be able to move over to the business side. If they don't have funds, then they'll move over to the foundation side, and they're both paid different. So let me explain. The business side is set up like real estate. So when you want to buy a home, it's the same concept. You have someone working with you to find a home. You close on your home. That person gets paid when you close on your home, right? It's the same concept, but it's assisted living. So when you move into an assisted living, they pay us, so you don't have to. So our service is completely free to you, which is huge. That's the business side. The foundation side, because our goal is giving money, right? It's run completely separate. We're in the same office, but it's a completely separate room, separate bank account, separate everything. There's no funds that are transferred between the two organizations. And the only way the foundation is raising money right now is through our events, private donors, corporate sponsors, and people who care about seniors. We have had so many people walk alongside us that see what we're doing, making a difference in people's lives, that have donated, because it's a 501c3 and it's called Next Steps for Seniors Foundation. It's a 501c3. And that's when I was talking about when we give money to help you bridge the gap for the forgotten middle. Does that make sense?
So
Yes, it does.
sorry that my computer had
She's back.
malfunction. I'm back. I would like to say that also, although we get reimbursed by the communities that we place into and that we're partners with, that does not sway us helping families make decisions on where to move. We really truly are focused on the right community with the right amount of care. We're not looking at how we're going to get paid because really we just want to do the right thing. Every single person who works with the Next Steps for Seniors and Next Steps for Seniors Foundation, their eye is on the senior. It is our purpose, it is our passion, and it is our hearts.
It's very evident.
Any other questions? Did that answer, Mark and Tony? Did that answer your question?
Thank you.
I actually have not heard much about the adult foster care, and I think that is, I actually want to know more about it because I think that is, you like you said, a great transition from going from your own home before you have to go into assisted living or, in fact, I have two foster homes in my neighborhood that I know of.
Adult foster cares are wonderful, and part of how we discern on when somebody should move is often their level of care. And we also take a look at the whole person. So we really take a look at socially where someone was at, emotionally where they're at, but also physically. And if they have a lot of ailments, they're, because sometimes it can be a little daunting on one's heart when they need a little bit more care, whether that's with eating or any of those activities of daily living. We really try to make sure that it's a great match for every community, but I think everybody could benefit from an adult foster care.
What I love too is, Erica and the team, when they listen to you and they hear what what your needs are, what your level of care is, what's necessary, they do a fantastic job with proper placement. Erica's big on this. She's not going to recommend a place that can't take care of you. They know this stuff like the back of their hands. So they're going to make sure that you are in the place that you need to be. And sometimes it's not appropriate. Maybe you're a really social person and you like to walk every day a mile. That's not going to work in a residential care home, but that's the kind of stuff we're listening for. So we'll know the best options for you.
And Mary Ann, you just asked a question. Absolutely. So there is a couple of different companies that we work with and really try to be cognizant if somebody wants 2 days a week in home care, that's not always the same. So there's a couple of different companies that are able to work with that flex schedule, as long as they have a little bit of notice so they can ensure that you have proper care coming in for those days.
You pretty much can get now post-COVID, you can pretty much get home care like she mentioned when you need it. Pre-COVID or during COVID, we were short caregivers and they had limitations. You had to have so many hours and so many days. So they've laxed a little bit on that now since we're past that to a degree, I should say.
That's good to know because I know that for a while with any of the referrals that we were making for our respite care program, a lot of places wanted like a minimum of 4 hours before they would send out, and that's great. I always tell people take that 4 hours. You still need to go get your hair done, your nails done, a mammogram or whatever, it's nice to have that.
Ability. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you do something smaller, like if you do 2 or 3 hours, then they usually will charge you a little bit more per hour. So honestly, 4 is usually a good number to start with. I don't recommend doing less than 4, but they had limits like 12 hours or 8 hours a day
Wow.
during COVID, and it just gets really expensive
Yeah.
because they
And
were
it's
so
not
short.
it's not hard to fill up 4 hours. A load of laundry takes an hour and a half at home. If they do 2 loads of laundry and they fold and put it away for you, that'll take up a good amount of time.
Mhm.
While they're doing other stuff. But yeah, it's great. What other
Mary Ann
questions?
had another question. She said, I apologize if you already said, but what does home care include?
Home care it can cover the gamut of activities of daily living within your home. They can do some simple meal prep for you. There are certain companies that will take you out grocery shopping if you're unable to drive any longer. They can accompany you to and from doctor's appointments. They're able to staff up to 24 hours a day for whatever you need. There are some limitations with certain companies for medication management or diabetic management, but we manage that on our side to ensure that they're able to take care of everything that you need.
Some people drive also, some of those care, I don't know if you mentioned that, but they can drive you to appointments and stuff. You got to make sure you clarify that up front if that's what you're looking for. They can either drive your car or drive their own car.
Can you tell us, Wendy, when your events are coming or planning, or we can keep an eye out? I mean, I will encourage everybody to follow them on social media. I do, so I can find out when I'm not going to miss it.
Excellent. Yeah. So our big, we have 2 a year. We have one in the fall, actually in the spring, it's the gala. The gala this year is probably going to be mid-June. We're looking at June 18th right now. And if you want to jot the date down, but follow us on social media because we don't have that 100% solidified, but we do have August 29th is the date of the other event. That is what we call the Ovation Cruise. And I think you were on that last year, weren't you, Julie?
I was.
Oh, it was so fun. So
It was
that is,
great. That's when I
yeah.
really got to see what you did as a foundation, and I'm a big fan.
So quick story, unless anyone else has a question, just so you know, one of the things we talked about at the gala last year is we actually had a client living in his car in February last year. And Neighborhood House, which is a partner of ours, called us because he had called for food and told us that he was living in his car. And is there anything you can do? So, of course, we got him into a safe place like within 24 hours. And he's now the ambassador of that community. Anyone that comes in, he talks to them, takes them to, they have 3 meals a day. He's so happy there. He's still, I mean, this has been a year and almost a year now that he's been in this community, but that's the kind of stuff that we can help make a difference with the foundation. I don't know what this poor little man would have done.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a blessing. Well, thank you for your
Well,
time. We
yes,
appreciate
thank
it.
you, Wendy. Oh my gosh. Again, I'm so glad that you decided to do this. I know there are a lot of questions. Oh, one just came in. Does your database include the entire state of Michigan?
Yes, a lot of our resources are all over. So if you call for home care, we have home care places pretty much most of Michigan. The UP would be very difficult for us. But outside of that, we can cover, we've got a lot, even in Saginaw. So yeah, we cover a lot. Thank you for that.
Perfect. She's from Saginaw, so that is excellent.
I
Um,
know Saginaw well, so just give us a call.
oh, that's good to know. That's great. Well, thank you again, everybody. I really appreciate you participating in the meeting tonight. Again, if you have any other questions, you can always reach out to me or to Next Steps for Seniors, or I'm happy to put you in touch. I was just going to try and put the information in for anybody who's interested in ping pong just because it's next Wednesday in Detroit. So I just put it in the chat feature. You do have to RSVP, but it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. Other than that, I just would encourage if home care is something that you're thinking about in terms of respite care, it's January. Don't wait to apply at the Michigan Parkinson's Foundation. Last year we did, we had budgeted $200,000 for respite care, and we hit that goal in July. And
Wow.
we ended up doing over $300,000. We had to move money around to cover it, but that's how much there is such a need. So I will encourage you to apply on our website. If you cannot access the information, you can contact us at the foundation. We can mail out an application, but it's pretty easy to maneuver if you check the respite tab on our website. And with that, unless anybody has any other questions,
I just want to say thank you so much for having us. It was a true pleasure. My whole team loves what we do. We are here for you. Don't panic. If you go in the hospital, you can call Next Steps for Seniors and you've got an advocate on your side.
so, so special. Thank you, Wendy.
All right.
Well,
God bless
everybody
you.
stay warm, keep moving, and we'll see you at the next one, okay?
All right. God bless you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.